British military forces stand ready for potential deployment to Ukraine, marking a significant shift in Western military support for the embattled nation. The United Kingdom's strategic preparation signals an unprecedented level of commitment to supporting Ukrainian defense capabilities through direct military presence and specialized training programs. But is this step a necessary act of solidarity, or does it risk escalating tensions to an uncontrollable level? As the Russia-Ukraine war reaches new heights of complexity, the prospect of direct British involvement raises critical questions about the balance between deterrence and provocation. Should Western nations take such bold actions, or are there alternative paths to peace and stability? What do you think about this? Leave your comments below. The United Kingdom's military support to Ukraine has evolved into a comprehensive assistance program encompassing training, equipment, and medical aid. Operation Interflex, the UK's flagship training initiative, has successfully prepared more than 45,000 Ukrainian recruits since Russia's invasion in 2022. Furthermore, the program will continue through 2025, demonstrating Britain's long-term commitment to Ukrainian defense capabilities. The British Army's training operations have accomplished remarkable milestones, playing a crucial role in enhancing Ukraine's defensive capabilities. An impressive 89% of trainees have reported feeling better prepared for battlefield survival after completing their programs, reflecting the effectiveness of the training modules. To date, over 50,000 Ukrainian personnel have undergone specialized training, equipping them with vital skills necessary for modern warfare. These training programs cover a wide range of essential competencies, including weapons handling, battlefield first aid, and patrol tactics, all tailored to meet the demands of combat scenarios in Ukraine. Furthermore, the United Kingdom has expanded its efforts by offering specialized training for Ukrainian pilots on F-16 fighter jets. This initiative not only includes fundamental flight training but also incorporates English language instruction, ensuring pilots are fully prepared to operate advanced NATO standard aircraft. Through these comprehensive efforts, the UK continues to strengthen Ukraine's resilience in the face of ongoing conflict. The United Kingdom has demonstrated a significant financial commitment to supporting Ukraine's military needs, allocating a total of £7.8 billion military assistance. This funding has been directed toward providing essential resources and bolstering Ukraine's defensive capabilities. Among the key contributions, the UK has supplied 400 different types of military equipment, enhancing the operational effectiveness of Ukrainian forces. The UK has pledged an additional £3 billion annually for military assistance, a commitment that extends through to 2030-2031, underscoring its long-term support for Ukraine's sovereignty and stability. In its most recent aid package, the UK allocated £225 million for critical assets such as drones, boats, and munitions, further strengthening Ukraine's ability to respond effectively to ongoing challenges on the battlefield. The medical support infrastructure provided by the United Kingdom has been extensive, spearheaded by UK Med's significant humanitarian initiatives. Since 2022, over 200 medical professionals from the NHS and international organizations have been deployed to support Ukraine's healthcare needs. UK Med has also established a robust presence on the ground, operating 9 mobile clinics that deliver critical healthcare services to affected communities. In addition to direct medical care, the organization employs a dedicated team of 50 humanitarian staff, the majority of whom are Ukrainian, ensuring that local expertise is integral to their efforts. To further enhance the capacity of Ukraine's healthcare system, UK Med has introduced specialized training programs designed to equip local medical professionals with the skills necessary to address the unique challenges posed by the ongoing conflict. The medical teams have conducted over 18,000 consultations between April 2022 and November 2023, specifically focusing on areas near the front lines where healthcare access is limited. Consequently, these efforts have been particularly crucial for elderly residents and those with limited mobility in conflict-affected regions. The strategic deployment of British troops in Ukraine represents a pivotal shift in NATO's Eastern European defense posture. The Ministry of Defense's consideration of this deployment underscores the evolving nature of Western military support in the face of ongoing Russian aggression. The alliance's commitment to Ukraine's security has intensified significantly, with NATO condemning Russia's actions and providing unprecedented levels of support. The UK's leadership role within NATO has become increasingly vital, as evidenced by its administration of the International Fund for Ukraine, launched in partnership with Denmark. A strategic assessment highlights three crucial elements that play a pivotal role in shaping the current defense landscape. The first is collective defense, which has significantly enhanced NATO's readiness to respond to emerging threats. The second element, military integration, has led to improved interoperability among allied forces, ensuring seamless coordination during joint operations. Lastly, resource coordination has optimized the deployment of capabilities, enabling more effective and efficient use of available assets to address the complexities of modern warfare. The presence of British troops would strengthen Europe's defensive capabilities, although this deployment requires careful consideration of various factors. Indeed, the UK's geographical position, while less exposed than other European allies, nevertheless plays a crucial role in NATO's ability to support frontline forces. The security implications of these efforts go far beyond immediate military concerns, fostering enhanced regional stability through bolstered deterrence capabilities. These actions have also strengthened international partnerships across Europe, reinforcing alliances and collaborative efforts. Additionally, they have improved the coordination of military resources and training, ensuring a more unified and effective approach to addressing security challenges. The deterrence strategy focuses on preventing further Russian aggression while supporting Ukraine's territorial integrity. However, the UK's current military structure, designed for brief conflicts rather than protracted warfare, presents challenges in maintaining long-term deterrence. The UK's deterrence capabilities have faced significant scrutiny, with the House of Lords International Relations and Defence Committee highlighting that NATO's previous deterrence posture failed to prevent Russian aggression. Therefore, the UK government must address these challenges through increased defence spending and improved military readiness. The strategic deployment also aligns with NATO's broader objective of supporting Ukraine's inherent right to self-defense. Although the UK maintains a smaller active stockpile compared to some European allies, its commitment to Ukraine's defense remains steadfast, with £9.3 billion in total military, humanitarian, and economic support. The United Kingdom's military readiness assessment reveals substantial progress in preparing forces for potential deployment to Ukraine, with Operation Interflex surpassing its initial training targets. A comprehensive evaluation of the UK's military capabilities demonstrates both achievements and challenges in supporting Ukraine's defense needs. Operation Interflex has emerged as a highly successful initiative in preparing Ukrainian forces for the challenges of modern warfare. An impressive 89% of trainees report feeling significantly more capable of surviving on the battlefield, highlighting the program's impact on combat readiness. To date, more than 50,000 Ukrainian recruits have undergone intensive training on British soil, a number that far exceeds initial projections. This program incorporates a robust training infrastructure, including a 5-week intensive course focused on essential infantry skills, advanced leadership training for selected personnel, and specialized instruction supported by 12 partner nations. Given its success, the timeline for Operation Interflex has been extended through 2025, ensuring ongoing support for Ukraine's defense needs. In tandem with training efforts, the Ministry of Defense has implemented comprehensive measures to ensure the readiness of military equipment. To address the demands of replenishing donated supplies, contracts worth £1 billion have been placed to restore critical stockpiles. Additionally, a commitment of £10 billion has been allocated for munitions production over the next decade, reflecting the UK's long-term dedication to sustaining its defense capabilities. Importantly, these measures have been carefully balanced to minimize the reduction of equipment from UK stockpiles, thereby maintaining the military's operational readiness while continuing to support Ukraine's defense objectives. Through this multifaceted approach, the UK demonstrates its unwavering commitment to bolstering both its security and that of its allies. The logistical framework undoubtedly presents complex challenges for sustained deployment. The British Army currently allocates more than 1/4 of its training estate to Ukrainian forces, subsequently affecting its training capabilities. Military planners have identified that British Army units seeking training site access in 2023 faced rejection rates 8 times higher than in 2019. The Defense Equipment Support Team has adopted innovative strategies to enhance the efficiency of equipment procurement. For urgent operational requirements, non-competitive procurement processes have been implemented to ensure rapid delivery of essential supplies. In contrast, predictable equipment needs are addressed through competitive tendering, promoting cost-effectiveness and transparency. Additionally, the establishment of logistics enablement nodes in Eastern Europe has further streamlined the distribution and availability of military resources, reinforcing support for ongoing operations and strengthening regional readiness. Undeniably, the assessment indicates substantial pressure on training facilities, with the Ministry of Defense acknowledging constraints on the Army's capacity to train its soldiers. Nevertheless, the military maintains operational effectiveness through coordinated efforts with international partners and the Army Reserve to mitigate these impacts. The logistics infrastructure has evolved to support this extensive operation, with Team Leidos managing equipment delivery through established routes to Eastern Europe. This systematic approach ensures efficient resource allocation while maintaining operational security standards. Diplomatic tensions have escalated as the United Kingdom intensifies its military support for Ukraine, prompting strong reactions from Moscow and reshaping international alliances. The UK's broader diplomatic efforts have focused on building and coordinating international assistance to Ukraine through various channels. The United Kingdom has solidified its position as a leading diplomatic force through a series of impactful initiatives. Hosting donor conferences and spearheading the establishment of the International Donor Coordination Centre are key examples of its commitment to international collaboration. The UK's diplomatic influence is further underscored by its leadership in coordinating G7 sanctions, its status as a permanent member of the UN Security Council, and its administration of the International Fund for Ukraine. At the same time, the UK relationship has demonstrated impressive resilience in the context of support for Ukraine. Despite ongoing disputes related to Brexit, both sides have maintained a strong sense of political and diplomatic alignment, ensuring cohesive and effective responses to the challenges posed by the conflict. These efforts highlight the UK's ability to navigate complex international dynamics while prioritizing collective action for regional stability and security. Moscow has responded to the possibility of British troop deployment with clear and uncompromising rhetoric, signaling its strong opposition to such actions. The Kremlin has issued stern warnings, emphasizing that any foreign military personnel involved in training Ukrainian forces would be deemed legitimate military targets, effectively expanding the scope of Russian military operations. Furthermore, Russian officials have declared that the deployment of British troops would be regarded as a direct act of war, heightening the stakes in an already volatile conflict. Additionally, the Kremlin has cautioned that the use of UK-supplied weapons against Russian territory could provoke retaliatory strikes, a move that would dramatically escalate tensions between Russia and the West. Despite this assertive stance, Russian officials have demonstrated a degree of restraint in their approach to escalation, likely reflecting an awareness of the catastrophic risks associated with confrontation with NATO forces. This measured response suggests that while Russia seeks to deter further Western involvement, it remains cautious about crossing thresholds that could lead to uncontrollable consequences. This delicate balancing act underscores the fragile and precarious nature of the current geopolitical landscape, where every decision carries profound implications for regional and global stability. The international community's reaction to the UK's military support initiatives has been diverse, with different nations and entities expressing varied positions. France has shown strong support for the UK's efforts, backing the expansion of its military presence in Ukraine. In contrast, Germany has voiced opposition to the direct deployment of British troops, preferring to avoid escalation through such measures. The United States has maintained its focus on providing military aid to Ukraine, but has refrained from deploying troops, continuing its support in the form of resources and strategic guidance. Meanwhile, the European Union has coordinated closely with the UK on sanctions and the provision of military equipment, working in unison to exert pressure on Russia while bolstering Ukraine's defense capabilities. Soon after the UK announced expanded support, several NATO members clarified their positions regarding military presence in Ukraine. Overall, while some allies have expressed reservations about direct military involvement, they have praised Britain's leadership in providing military assistance. The diplomatic landscape has been markedly influenced by the Tallinn Pledge, where the UK and 8 EU member states committed to delivering substantial military support, including main battle tanks, heavy artillery, and air defense systems. This initiative demonstrates the UK's ability to lead like-minded European nations in supporting Ukraine, even outside formal EU structures. The international diplomatic framework has similarly evolved through the UK's participation in the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, where coordination of military assistance and training among NATO allies has become increasingly structured. This arrangement has enabled more efficient resource allocation and strategic planning among partner nations. Operation Interflex stands as the cornerstone of British military training support for Ukraine, with remarkable achievements in preparing Ukrainian forces for combat operations. Initially launched in June 2022, the program has currently trained more than 50,000 Ukrainian recruits on British soil. The British military maintains a minimal presence in Ukraine, primarily consisting of medical personnel and training staff. Notably, the program involves 1,050 British military personnel on standby for training operations, 12 partner nations contributing to the training mission, and multiple training sites across the UK territory. The 5-week training program is designed to build essential combat skills with a curriculum that spans both fundamental and advanced elements of military operations. Trainees focus on a wide range of core competencies, including weapons handling, battlefield first aid, and patrol tactics. Additionally, the program covers specialized areas such as urban warfare tactics, combat operations, trench warfare, marksmanship, and training for operations in rural environments. Recent evaluations show that 89% of participants in the 4th training tranche reported a significant improvement in their battlefield survival skills. The program has also evolved in response to valuable lessons drawn from Ukraine's frontline experiences, ensuring that the training remains relevant and adaptive to the real-world challenges faced by Ukrainian forces. This continuous development highlights the program's effectiveness in preparing troops for the complexities of modern warfare. The UK government has decided to extend Operation Interflex through 2025, creating a clear framework for ongoing support and ensuring continued assistance to Ukraine. The program's timeline has seen significant milestones, starting with the initial phase in 2022, where the training target was set to 10,000 recruits every 120 days. In 2023, the program expanded and exceeded expectations, reaching 30,000 trained personnel ahead of schedule. By 2024, the program had already surpassed the milestone of 50,000 trained recruits. In 2025, the operation is set to continue with an expanded scope and enhanced capabilities, ensuring sustained support for Ukraine's defense efforts. The training operation has primarily focused on volunteer recruits with limited military experience. Essentially, the program enables Ukraine's forces to accelerate deployments, rebuild units, and enhance resistance capabilities. The British Army utilizes more than 1/4 of its training estate for this mission, demonstrating a substantial commitment to Ukraine's defense capabilities. The operation has expanded beyond basic infantry training to include specialized programs. Currently, these encompass Royal Air Force instruction for Ukrainian pilots, incorporating both basic flight training and essential English language preparation for F-16 operations. Security analysis reveals critical considerations as British military personnel face increasing challenges in Ukraine's volatile environment. The Ministry of Defense has conducted extensive risk evaluations to ensure troop safety amid frequent missile and drone attacks across the country. The security situation in Ukraine poses several challenges for British forces deployed in the region. Missile strikes have become a frequent occurrence, affecting various areas across the country. In addition, drone activity has significantly increased in recent months, further complicating the operational environment. The widespread damage to infrastructure has severely impacted civilian facilities, adding to the strain on the local population. Power disruptions, including unscheduled blackouts, have also become a common occurrence, disrupting daily life and complicating logistical operations. Essentially, British personnel must navigate an environment where Russian attacks have damaged or destroyed more than 25% of naval vessels in the Black Sea region. The risk assessment notably encompasses both direct combat threats and infrastructure vulnerabilities that could affect operational capabilities. The British military has implemented comprehensive protection protocols, primarily focusing on advanced air raid alert systems integration, secure shelter location identification, emergency response procedures, and robust medical evacuation capabilities. At this point, force protection logistics require careful consideration of supply chains. The establishment of permanent military bases would necessitate appropriate force protection inside Ukraine, though such facilities could become potential targets for Russian forces. Given the elevated threat levels, operational security measures have been significantly tightened. The Ministry of Defense has proactively implemented a range of protocols to ensure safety and security. These measures include strict documentation verification and transport restrictions to prevent unauthorized access and movement. Border control procedures have been strengthened to monitor and manage crossings more effectively. Additionally, communication security protocols have been enhanced to safeguard sensitive information, while movement patterns have been adjusted to reduce predictability and minimize potential risks. The British military's approach to operational security generally incorporates lessons learned from previous deployments. Analogous to experiences in Iraq and Afghanistan, instructors apply modern NATO standards while adapting to Ukraine's specific security environment. The security framework must address the challenge of what rules of engagement would apply to British forces. These rules are fundamental in establishing the legal parameters for force usage, especially given the potential for inadvertent contact with Russian forces. The operational environment demands heightened awareness, as British personnel could face risks from unintended targets or falling debris from air defense operations. The security measures must account for temperatures dropping below 20 degrees in winter months, affecting both personnel safety and equipment functionality. Lastly, the British military has implemented strict protocols for information sharing and operational details dissemination. This includes careful management of training location information and movement patterns to minimize potential targeting risks. The political landscape surrounding British military support for Ukraine demonstrates unprecedented unity across Westminster, with successive governments maintaining a steadfast commitment to Kyiv's defense. Support for Ukraine has emerged as a rare point of consensus in British politics, transcending traditional party lines and ideological divisions. The House of Commons has consistently backed military assistance to Ukraine, as evidenced by the recent passage of the Financial Assistance to Ukraine bill with unanimous cross-party support. The legislation secured £2.26 billion in additional funding for military equipment and training programs. Parliamentary backing encompasses long-term financial commitments through 2030 to 2031, regular defense capability reviews, comprehensive assistance packages, and strategic partnership agreements. Political unity surrounding the UK's policy on Ukraine has been notably strong, especially when compared to other foreign policy issues. The Conservative government's stance on Ukraine has garnered wide support across political parties. The Labour Party has expressed complete alignment with the government's approach, reinforcing a unified front on the matter. The Liberal Democrats have shown unreserved support for providing military assistance, while the Scottish National Party has fully backed the delivery of aid packages. Similarly, Reform UK maintains a pro-Ukraine stance, further contributing to the broad consensus on supporting Ukraine amidst its ongoing conflict. Notably, even the opposition under Keir Starmer has maintained unwavering support for the government's Ukraine policy, marking a significant shift from previous positions. This political consensus has enabled swift decision-making on critical military support matters. British public sentiment strongly favors supporting Ukraine, with polling data revealing substantial backing for military assistance. Currently, 81% of Britons express their desire for a Ukrainian victory, compared to merely 3% supporting Russia. The depth of public engagement with the conflict is evident across several key metrics. A significant 44% of the population believes the outcome of the war is of utmost importance, while 75% are in favor of maintaining the current sanctions against Russia. Additionally, 65% of Britons support providing more weaponry and supplies to Ukraine. When it comes to strategic preferences, 53% of people back continued support for Ukraine until Russian forces withdraw, while 23% advocate for a negotiated peace that involves territorial concessions. Furthermore, 52% are in favor of sending additional troops to support NATO members, reflecting a broad willingness to further engage in ensuring regional stability and confronting Russian aggression. Essential differences emerge when comparing UK public opinion with other European nations. The British public ranks among the staunchest supporters of Ukraine, alongside Eastern European nations and recent NATO applicants. This robust public backing has essentially enabled the government to maintain its comprehensive support package without significant domestic opposition. The political framework has beforehand established clear parameters for military engagement, with 57% of the public opposing direct troop deployment to Ukraine. Nevertheless, support remains strong for other forms of military assistance, including cyber operations against Russian military capabilities, which 45% of the public endorses. Looking toward future developments, 56% of Britons anticipate the conflict continuing beyond 2024. This realistic assessment of the war's duration has not diminished public support, as demonstrated by the consistent backing for long-term assistance packages and training programs. The financial commitment to support British troops in Ukraine has reached unprecedented levels, fundamentally reshaping the UK's defense spending priorities. The Treasury has allocated a total of £12.8 billion in support to Ukraine since February 2022, with £7.8 billion specifically designated for military assistance. The Ministry of Defence's current spending framework encompasses multiple funding streams. The defense budget allocation includes £7.8 billion for military support, a commitment that has been in place since February 2022. Additionally, there is an annual commitment of £3 billion for ongoing support until the end of the 2030-31 fiscal year. The ministry has also allocated £2.71 billion for equipment replacement, which will continue through 2030 to 2031. Finally, £2.51 billion has been earmarked for stockpile enhancement, with this funding set to be used between 2022 and 2025. Primarily, the funding comes from the Treasury Reserve, ensuring that regular defense operations remain unaffected. The Ministry of Defense has essentially implemented non-competitive procurement processes to expedite equipment supply, with 715 contracts placed by June 2024. The financial impact of providing equipment support to Ukraine has been significant, with the costs associated with replacing donated military assets notably surpassing their book value. The Ministry of Defense has encountered several key areas of expenditure, including £2.71 billion for the replacement of donated equipment. Additionally, artillery and munitions valued at £171.5 million on government books have contributed to the overall financial commitment. To address these needs, new procurement contracts worth £1 billion have already been allocated, alongside an additional £2.51 billion for broader stockpile funding. The International Fund for Ukraine, managed by British authorities, has secured over £1.3 billion in pledges from international partners, highlighting the global effort to support Ukraine's defense. Among the notable contributions is a substantial £300 million ammunition order, underscoring the scale and importance of multinational financial cooperation in sustaining Ukraine's military capabilities. Today's update on the Russia-Ukraine war emphasizes the UK's ongoing commitment to providing sustained financial support through various mechanisms. The government has put in place a comprehensive long-term funding strategy, ensuring £3 billion in military support annually until 2031. In addition, £2.26 billion has been allocated through the G7 Extraordinary Revenue Acceleration Loans to further bolster Ukraine's defense. The UK has reaffirmed its commitment to continue support for as long as it takes, underscoring the nation's dedication to Ukraine's sovereignty. On the equipment and infrastructure front, the UK has pledged £3.5 billion in loans guaranteed by UK Export Finance to support Ukraine's military needs. Furthermore, a £186 million package has been allocated for essential military equipment, including £92 million specifically designated for enhancing naval capabilities. The economic framework notably includes innovative funding mechanisms, such as using profits from immobilized Russian sovereign assets to repay the £2.6 billion loan. This approach essentially creates a sustainable funding model while imposing economic costs on Russia. The financial planning extends beyond direct military aid, incorporating broader economic considerations. The estimated cost of reconstruction in Ukraine stands at $486 billion over the next decade, fundamentally influencing the UK's long-term commitment strategy. Currently, the Defence Industrial Cooperation has expanded through the Defence Industrial Support Treaty, enabling military equipment procurement through £3.5 billion in UK export finance guaranteed loans. This arrangement fundamentally strengthens both countries' defense industrial bases while ensuring sustainable support mechanisms. The financial framework has adapted to address emerging challenges, with the Ministry of Defense facing equipment budget shortfalls of £3 billion this year and £3.9 billion in 2025. These pressures form part of a cumulative £16.9 billion 10-year deficit, requiring careful strategic planning and resource allocation. The economic impact extends to operational considerations, with the UK reducing equipment donations from its stockpiles since 2023. This adjustment reflects a balanced approach between supporting Ukraine and maintaining domestic military capabilities. The value of donations has decreased substantially, falling from £130 million in 2022 to 2023 to £15.9 million in 2023. The UK's military preparation for potential deployment to Ukraine marks a significant moment in Western support for Kyiv's defense. With over 50,000 Ukrainian personnel trained through Operation Interflex and military assistance, totaling £7.8 billion since 2022, the UK's commitment is clear. While security risks and equipment challenges persist, The UK's long-term strategy ensures sustainable support through 2030 to 2031, reinforcing its leadership role in NATO. As the UK navigates this critical phase, what do you think is the most important factor in ensuring the success of British military support for Ukraine? We would love it if you like the video and leave a comment before watching another video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next videos.